we're going to take a look at a 5-play scheme that you can create out of the gun spread out of the Seattle Seahawks playbook. And we're going to go ahead and start off with a play here that is called play action read. And this particular play, as you're going to take a look at it, what we like about it is that we can use it to go ahead and attack man coverage. So let's just go ahead and take a look at the play here. And as you can see by the default pass routes, that we're going to start away from left to right, that you're going to have the split in out here. Now he's going to go ahead and run this deep crossing route into this area here. Then underneath of him, the slot receiver is also going to run a crossing route, but a little bit shallow into this area here. And against man coverage, that's generally the receiver that we're going to look to throw to. Now over here on the right in the slot here, you got this guy right here. He's going to go ahead and run a whip route or a zigzag out here towards the outside, towards the right sideline. And then on the outside of him is going to be the flanker, and he's going to go ahead and take an outside release, and he's going to run up the field about 20 yards, and then he's going to break out towards the outside on his comeback route into that area there. And now with this particular play, it is a play action play, so the running back is going to go into this area here. The quarterback's going to fake the handoff, and then the running back would stay in the pass block. Now for us, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're actually going to hot route him on a different pass route. We'll talk about that here in just a second. As far as the pass coverages, we're going to run this against. It happens to be 2-man under or cover 2-man, as you can see on your screen there. So you're going to end up having 5 defenders in man coverage. As you look at your screen here, so you have these 5 defenders playing man coverage, and then you have these 2 deep defenders out here, which is going to be the safety here, which is free safety, and the strong safety playing 2 deep coverage, such as what you're seeing on your screen. And then finally, we have a 4-man pass rush, which are these are the 4 defenders that are rushing the quarterback. So with that, one of the things that you like to do here is try to get as much open with this particular play. You want to try to get that slot receiver on the left as open as you can against his coverage. And I'm going to show that. So this is that slot receiver I was talking about as far as this crossing route. We're going to look to throw to him. And for us to be able to do that, what we're going to do is we're actually going to hot route the running back on a pass route. And I want to show you why here in a second. So let's go ahead and run through this. And then here's the hot route that I was talking about with the running back. We're going to go ahead and put him on a flat route towards the left, or swing route, actually towards the left, as you can see on your screen. So he's going to go in this direction here. And what we want to do is we want to pull the defender that's covering him. In this case, it's going to be this linebacker. We want to clear him out. We don't want him to be anywhere in this middle of the area. I don't want him spying a quarterback or anything like that. I want to get rid of him. So by having him go out here and covering the running back, that's going to get him out of the play. And then that's going to leave me the option to go ahead and throw, as I said before, as this receiver comes over the middle into this area here, then I can go ahead and drop my quarterback into this area, and then I can look for him deep down the field and end up making that throw to him, providing that he has a space or a couple of yards on the defender that's covering. In this case, it would be that nickel back or dime back who's lined up right here. So let's go ahead and continue on with the play and take a look at it, and you'll see what I mean as far as that. And right there, we end up making a catch for a nice gain. Now, let's go ahead and rewind it because I want to go back and talk about a few things that we just talked about earlier. All right, first off, if you remember right, I talked about putting this guy, as far as this running back, going on the swing route or flat route out here towards the left. Now, as you look, you can see that this defender right here is going to go out and cover him. So that's going to get him out of this area here. He's not going to be anywhere in this area where I'm going to make this throw as my receiver's coming across the field, as far as that slot receiver as he comes across the field. So that's the first thing I want to show you. So right there, we can see there. And then as you look at it, you can see, as you look at your screen right there, you can see the separation that slot receiver is getting. Now, ideally, one of the things that you want to do with this is you want to make sure that you have a fast receiver in the slot, so that way he can get in there and get open. One other thing I want to do, I want to rewind it just a little bit more here with this play because I want to show you guys something else. Let's go ahead and take a look at something else right here. All right, right there. You notice the other key about this is he does not get jammed at the line of scrimmage. If you look over here, that slot receiver is getting jammed, but over here, that guy's not being jammed. So that's what I like about this particular route is that he doesn't get jammed at the line of scrimmage, allowing him to get out and get open where we can make that throw. So this play is called play action read, so it's pretty effective as far as attacking man coverage. Now, the next play I want to talk about is called corner strike. Now, this play's been around forever, and we run it from all kinds of different type of formations. And what it really amounts to is that you have the 2 outside receivers running backward C routes, and then to the inside you have the 2 slot receivers running flat routes. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and just take a look at it here. And as you can see on your screen right here is what I was talking about earlier. On the outside, you're going to have both these receivers. Here we go with the The split end, he's out here, and then we also have the flanker. They're both running those backward C routes, where really what they are is corner routes, essentially, with an inside release. And then to the inside of them, here's the two slot receivers. They're both running flat routes. And then finally, the running back, he's going to run a delayed curl. Now, if you want, with him, we're actually going to hot route him on a different route, but you don't have to. If you want to, you can just allow him to run that delayed curl, but we're going to actually hot route him on a curl route, and you'll see that here in just a second. So let's just go ahead and do that. But first, before we do that, let's take a look at the pass coverages that we're going to run this one against. And this happens to be cover 2 zone. And I think you guys can imagine here that this is going to be pretty effective. He's going to come over here to split in. He's going to go in this area here. And then out here on the other side, you're going to have this flanker. He's going to go inside and up in here. Now, against cover 2 coverage, the key here is making sure when you make this throw is that you throw it to the outside. So here's the free safety playing that area, playing that deep half. Here's the strong safety playing that deep half. So those two guys are playing those deep halves. You got to make sure when you make that throw that you throw it towards the outside. For example, if we drop back here and we see that it's cover 2 coverage, when we make this throw, we want to throw it hard left out here towards this receiver here, towards the split end. So on your controller, you're going to want to go ahead and press hard left towards this direction here. So you want to go hard left, about the 9 o'clock position. So just keep that in mind. Now the other thing is, against cover 2 coverage this year, because those corners are going to sink if no one goes into the flat, then you have to have a receiver go into the flat. In this case, we got the 2 slot receivers. If you don't, then what's going to end up happening here is that these 2 defenders, in this case it's going to be this flat defender, he'll actually sink back into this area here, taking away that throw to the split end. The same thing with this defender over here. He'll drop back if there's no flat defender. So that's the unfortunate thing with this, but the way the coverages work this year, which is actually quite smart because it makes everything have to be thrown underneath unless you find ways to make sure that you don't have to, and this is what I was talking about. You make sure you have a flat receiver running into flat. So let's go ahead and continue on with this. Now, with the running back, we're going to go ahead and hot route him, as I said earlier, on a curl route, such as what you can see on your screen there. So we went ahead and hot routed him on a curl route. If you want, you can go ahead and allow him to run the delay. The only reason I'm hot routing him on a curl, I want to make sure he goes out. I want to make sure I have an underneath option to throw to just in case I can't go deep and perhaps the 2 flat receivers are covered. So that's why I'm doing that. All right, let's go ahead and continue on with it. I want to go ahead and run it, and you can take a look at it, and we end up making that throw to the outside. Let's go ahead and rewind this a little bit because I want to talk about what I just talked about a second ago. Let's go back in here and run a little bit more here, right about here. Now, as you can see on your screen, at this point, I have a couple things I can look at. I know I can't go over here because he's covered. I know he can't go over here because he's pretty well covered, even though that defender's right there. If I was to throw it, pretty much he would step in. Now, I'm looking deep here, and I'm seeing how these, I can tell it's cover 2 based on how these 2 safeties split out. So now I got to make sure I get the ball over the top of this guy here or this one over here when those receivers break towards the outside on those corner routes. So here we go with this. They're going to break out to the outside, and in this area here, and the same thing with this defender receiver over here. He's going to break out into the corner. So I've got to make sure when I make this throw that I throw it over the top. In this case, I'm going to throw it to this guy over here. And I also got to make sure that I throw it at the 9 o'clock position, as I talked about earlier, because if I don't, there's a good chance that that safety over there will end up being in position to go ahead and either pick the pass off or possibly at least knock it down. So I got to make sure I throw it to the outside. And that's what I'm doing right here. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on with it. Throw it to the outside, makes a catch for a nice gain. All right, let's go on to the third play. Now, this third play is called curl flats, and this one is another one of those common plays that you see a lot of players run. Nothing special about it outside of I do like the running back who's running that angle route. I love those angle routes that are run by running backs, and this is one of the reasons I picked this play, because I feel like if I have it, then I can go ahead and always have that option to throw to, even against its man or zone. It doesn't matter. So I want to keep that in mind with you guys when you guys are watching this. This is why I like this play so much. Also, one of the things I failed to tell you right at the beginning of the video breakdown is these 5 plays, 4 of these plays you could set as your audibles. So for example, one of the things you could do here is you can make this your number 1 audible, 2 audible, 3 audible, and 4 audible. And then the 5th audible would be this counter read play. Now you can't have 5 audibles, but the 5th play you call, so anytime you call a play in the huddle, could be your 5th play. So if you come out to the line of scrimmage and you don't like what you called, you always a lot of times I always call a run play, and then I'll audible to one of these 4 pass plays that I have set, and that's what I would do. Or I may call another run play, or no, say it's 3rd and 10. I know I'm not going to probably run the ball. I'll call a pass play, and I'll still have these 4 audibles to use if I need to, as far as setting my custom audibles up for this particular formation. So just keep that in mind. All right, I want to keep going on with this because I want to go ahead and talk about the curl flat play. Let's go ahead and go into that one. And what I like about the curl flat play is it gives me a lot of options. Let's go ahead and rewind it just a little bit here and go back into it. This play here gives me a lot of options to throw to, because what I can do here is go ahead and basically look to throw to one of those outside receivers. Here we're going to go ahead and run this against cover 3 coverage. And as you see on your screen right there, you have these two flat defenders that are playing the flat. So you have this guy here and you have this guy here, both playing the flats. And at cover 3 coverage, that's what they do. And then with this curl flats, it's an excellent passing concept to attack that type of coverage. Let's go ahead and continue on here. I want to go back into it and just go ahead and run it here. And you can see right here, you really have two options you can throw to. You can either throw to the halfback who's running that angle route, such as what I just showed there. Let's go ahead and go back to it again. And you can see a lot of times he's going to get open. As you look at it, you can see these guys are dropping pretty far back. So you know you got him always underneath. You're not going to pick up a ton of yards with this, but at least 4 or 5 yards usually. And that's the reason I like that angle route so much. So right there you can pick the running back, or if you want to, you can always throw to one of those outside receivers who are running the curls. So let's go back in here and rewind this again. I want to go back a little bit more over this play just a little bit here. So let's go ahead and rewind it a little bit. As you look, and this is what I was talking about as far as with the flats going here, you got these two receivers running flat routes. So you've got this guy right here, the slot receiver, going towards the left. And then over here, you've got the running back going towards the, not running back, the slot receiver over here going towards the right. So you got those two guys running flat routes. And then to the outside of them both, you got these guys running these curl routes. He can take an option, so he can take an inside release and run his curl route into this area here, or he can run it up in this area here, one or the other. So he's got that option. And the same thing with the split end. He can go up, or excuse me, the flanker, he can go up here and run this curl here, or he can take an inside release and run his curl into this area here. So you got a lot of options to run this play, especially against cover 3 coverage, because somebody's going to be open. I guarantee you that. Also, if your opponent was to call a blitz, say for example they were to go ahead and blitz you off the edge here, this guy comes on a blitz, and you already see that. You see he comes in on a blitz, and you see no defender covering the flat over here. Then as the quarterback, you really need to go ahead and make this throw over here, unless it's something like 3rd and 15. But if it's 1st and 10, you run this play, and you see him wide open in the flat, why not take 4 or 5 yards? I mean, I always will. And even if I pick up more, chances are you're probably going to pick up more, especially if it's a blitz. So just keep that in mind as you run this, that if no one's covering the flats and it's 1st and 10, 2nd and 8, throw to the flat. There's nothing wrong with throwing the flat and picking up 5 or 6 yards. I remember Big B a long time ago, one of the things he always taught me, he said, Cobra, if you got the flats open, take them. Because once you start attacking the flats, then your opponent must guard those, and it's going to open up everything else. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead and continue on with this. This time we're going to throw to one of the outside receivers here and make the throw there towards the right, and we end up completing it for a nice gain. So there's a lot of options to throw to when you run the curl flats. Now the next play I want to talk about is called the halfback slip screen. Now this particular play I like anytime I can find a screen play in any formation, and whether it be a wide receiver screen, a halfback screen, I'm probably going to have it in one of my audibles. I'm guarantee it. I love running screens because it forces your opponent to respect the screen. And once they start respecting that screen, again, just like what I was talking about attacking the flats, it starts opening up things. This play will open up stuff because if they see you run it 3 or 4 times in a game, I guarantee it, they're going to start thinking about it. So let's go ahead and just take a look at as far as the pass routes are concerned with this one. And really not a whole lot I want to show out here. I mean, you do have a switch going on over here towards the left. You have these two receivers switching right here, so you got a switch going on here between these two. But we're not really looking to throw to them because we're really not going to have enough time. The same thing over here. We're not really looking to throw to these guys. You might consider hot routing these guys on streaks or just to get them out of the area, maybe on drags, just to get them out of the play. That's something you might consider doing, especially if your opponent runs a lot of man coverage. You really don't want to bring those guys anywhere in the area you're going to run this screen. Now, with the screen play, you're going to have a few defenders, or excuse me, a few of these guys are going to end up pulling to the outside. So, for example, you're going to have this guy right here. You're going to have him pulling out to the outside, which is going to be your center, and then you're going to have a couple of these other offensive linemen to the inside. I believe you're going to have this left guard. He's going to go out here, and you're also going to have this guy right here, this right guard. He's going to pull out to the outside as well. So you're going to have all 3 of those guys pulling out towards the right, setting up the screen for the running back as he comes into this area here, and he gets into this area here, and you're going to make that throw to him, and then he's going to end up being open with those 3 guys out there blocking. Let's go and take a look at it, and you'll see what I mean. We're going to run this against another zone coverage. This happens to be a blitz, actually. And you can see right there, here comes the pressure off the edge. So we got these guys coming off the edge over here. So I'm going to have to go ahead and sprint the quarterback back. So that's what I'm doing here right now. I'm just trying to get him out of the before he gets sacked. I'm waiting for this screen to be set up. And then once it is, then I'm going to go ahead and throw that ball. And then look at this. We end up having these 3 guys out here blocking. So hopefully, if the blocking works out for me, then I can end up finding somewhere to go and pick up some yardage. For example, hope this guy will go over here and block, and that's what I'm looking at here. Maybe this guy will get out here and block out here, something like that, where we'll get a nice block. Let's go ahead and get the right illustration here, but hopefully this guy will give me a block here, another key block. And as long as I get these key blocks, then once I'm in control of the running back, I can head up the field and pick up some positive yardage, and that's what I want to show here as we go. There's a key block, and I get to the outside and I pick up a nice gain. All right, the last play I want to show is a running play. Now, you guys may want to run a different one. And for me, I chose to counter read option, although you could run the read option or anything else out of this formation. For me, I like this one, and I'll show you why here as we go through it, versus the read option. And the reason for it is that the read option doesn't have this guy right here, which is going to be the right tackle. It doesn't have him pulling and becoming the lead blocker for the running back. So that's the reason I like it. So, for example, with this particular play, you're going to have this right tackle go over here, and he's going to go ahead and be the lead blocker if I hand off to the running back. Now, let me tell you something. A lot of times when I run this play, the read defender, and this guy, in this case, is going to be this guy right here, this linebacker, generally he does not bite on the, as far as with the quarterback, he doesn't go in there and try to go and chase the running back. Instead, he stays in pretty good position where he's actually going to go ahead and defend the running back and prevent me from taking off with the running back. So a lot of times I end up just handing off to the running back anyways, but on occasion that read defender may end up chasing the running back and allowing me to get the quarterback to the outside. Now, obviously, if you're not playing with a team with a fast quarterback, then you're probably not going to have a lot of success running the quarterback anyways. But if you're playing a team such as Seattle where you do have a fast quarterback, then you have some opportunities to get down the field on a run with him if that read defender bites on the running back. But chances are he probably won't. So, for example, here we go with this play. We're going to run this against man coverage, and you can see right here, there's the read defender. As you look at it, you can see right now, you can tell which way he's looking. He's looking inside here. He's looking right here. And so he's not going to see what's going to go on here, but you can see he's not chasing the running back. Instead, he's going to be in position to make sure that I can't take off with the quarterback and go into this area here and take off and run. And so I have to hand off to the running back, and that's what I'm going to do here. Let's go ahead and hand off to the running back and pick up some positive yardage. If we go back and just rewind this just a little bit, you're going to see that pulling, what I was talking about earlier about the right tackle pulling over towards the left, as you can see on your screen. So he pulls over here and he gets me a nice little block to the inside, although by the time he gets over there, it really doesn't matter anyways. But you can see right there that we get a block and we end up picking up some positive yardage with this. So that's really what I wanted to show here with this little scheme here. It's just a 5-play scheme that you can run out of the Seattle Seahawks playbook. I didn't do a lot of hot routes or anything like that, as you noticed. No motion, just right down, bare bones type scheme that I hope that helps you guys out. And thank you guys, whoever signs up for the locker room. This is the type of stuff that I'm going to try to keep doing throughout the season. A few of these schemes, at least a couple more for sure. And just to say thanks for signing up for the locker room. So just keep that in mind. And I hope you guys are enjoying the locker room, because the locker room is a pretty nice thing that I'm trying to put together for you guys. And hopefully it's something that you guys are enjoying this season. So thanks again.